Thank you for being here. Anybody who's going to come on live here, I'm not going to wait for people. I actually just have a few minutes. I'm sitting in my car. It is pouring down rain, and I am about to go in and do, I've been hired to go into a restaurant, which I've never worked with any restaurants before, to work with the leadership team. So we're doing an after hours thing tonight because the restaurant is closed now. And so we're going to do some nighttime stuff together with the leadership team. And I'm super excited to do that. And I'm parked out front of the restaurant, so I need to go in a second. But I wanted to just share this real quick while it was fresh in my mind. I was coaching somebody just a few days ago, and she was really struggling with some stuff about her past. Her past was really putting a huge damper on her doing things now. So we were talking about this stuff and kind of, what was coming up for her. She had all these things she wanted to do. She was clear on what she wanted to do. And actually what she first thought was that she was sad and depressed. And what really we got to through coaching was that the reason she felt like she was sad and depressed is because she wasn't really up to a lot in the world. And that's a whole different video. But if you're ever down, my first advice is to get up to something, right? If you're down on yourself, get up to something, and all of a sudden things will get a lot better, I promise you. So she wasn't up to anything. And so we talked about the things that she would want to be up to, and we saw there were a ton of things she wanted to be up to, but she had this anxiety about doing them, right? So now we're kind of talking about the anxiety. And of course, in the back of my mind always, because I'm, the playful prosperity guy, like I really believe that we can be so playful with our thinking and with our limitations and all the things that are coming up for us that we think cause us anxiety or sadness, ways for us to play with this stuff instead of overcoming it. We're talking about this anxiety, and we're talking about really the issue is that she is having an identity crisis. An identity crisis. And what I mean by having an identity crisis is that she was so attached to the person she was growing up, to the traumas that she experienced growing up, to the pain and the challenges that she had growing up, that it was holding her back from moving forward now. Her trauma was telling her that she was a certain kind of person. And it was even funny because, one of the things I talk about a lot that I think is the core of what we say is fear and what we say is self-sabotage is, and there's a whole module on this in Playful Prosperity that's coming out next month, is about competing commitments. It's really the fact that when we have more than one commitment, we have commitments that are competing with each other, the one that's stronger is going to win. So for this particular person I was coaching, she had a very strong commitment to putting herself out there and doing things that allowed her to be self-expressed and being up to things in the world. And she had this really interesting commitment to not let go of the woman that she is, or that she was rather, the girl that she was, the trauma that she went through as a kid. She really had a commitment to hang on to that as well. So what do you think happens when you have a commitment to hang on to a version of yourself that does not take action, and you're committed to taking action, and those two things are just in conflict with each other? Well, inevitably you get stuck and you feel sad or depressed, which is what she came up with. And so we started talking about this, and all of a sudden, boom, in my head, the Playful Prosperity tool for this particular challenge came up. And I don't have what I had there. I had a photo album with me there, or one that was close to me. It was over Skype, so I was able to grab a photo album. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to give you a very, very important test, a Playful Prosperity test that will help you immediately overcome any issues you have with identity crisis like my client had, and with your past dictating your future. You ready for this? This is a very, very skilled and advanced and sophisticated test. So pay attention here, okay? Right here is my smoothie, okay? And I'm here as well, okay? So what I want you to do, and you can answer in the comments, or you can point even though I can't see you, or you can just say it out loud in your head. Of the two main things you're seeing on the screen here, this and this, which of these is a human being and which is a smoothie? I know, I'll say it again because I know this can be really confusing. Of the two things you are looking at on your screen right now, which of them is a human being and which of them is a smoothie? And the reason I brought this distinction up is because everything that's happened in her life up to this point, they were a series of snapshots. A series of snapshots of her life, okay? So what she was doing was she had this photo album that had snapshots of her entire life, and she thought it was her job to cling to the photo album, and it was her job to overcome the pictures in the photo album. I mean, to me, this is mind-blowing, right? And I'm sure I've done this. I know I've done this, and I'm sure a lot of you have done it too. Think about that. She felt like she had to overcome snapshots of her life in order to move forward. And in this context, it would be like me saying, you guys all need to figure out a way to overcome and push through and do deep work on overcoming this smoothie. Anybody? Anybody want to overcome this smoothie? No, there's nothing to overcome. It's just a smoothie. And the same thing with my client. There was nothing to overcome. It was just a series of photographs. She didn't need to burn the photographs. She didn't need to bury them in the backyard. She didn't need to pretend they weren't there. She didn't need to even ignore them. She could know that the photo album exists and that her only job in life, the only thing that she really needs to do is to be a verb, to be out there living her life and taking more pictures. She's always been a photographer, capturing snapshots. That's all she has to keep doing is keep capturing snapshots. Keep taking pictures. Don't try to overcome the fucking pictures. Don't try to overcome the photo album. Don't try to overcome an identity. Go take more pictures. Go have more fun. How we try so hard to overcome things that don't need to be overcome. Things that can just be and they don't require anything from us. My smoothie's still next to me right now, right? I'm not pretending it's not there. I'm not trying to overcome it. I'm not trying to find a way to do deep work so that I can not deal with the smoothie. It's just here. And when I put it down, it's still there. I'm not dishonoring it by it being there, but I'm not making it serious. I'm not making it a big deal. And the same thing with anything that's happened in your past. It is simply a snapshot. It is not some permanent, pervasive thing that dictates your present and your future. So if you want to be prosperous in your present, you have to be very playful with your past. And so that is my message for you today as I get the hell off this thing because I got to get in and talk to my client. I love you guys so much. If this was valuable for you, share it with the people that you love. Share it with people that may be stuck in their past right now and they're letting it affect their present and their future because they don't have to. But the great news is they don't have to overcome anything, right? Hashtag down with deep work. Hashtag what the fun are you waiting for? Hashtag playful prosperity. Love you guys. See you very soon. Mwah. Peace.